So here we are again, and I'm always so excited about these calls and all the people from all over the world who show up and take time out of their lives. And I really want to thank you for being here today and for being there for yourself and for not giving up hope and for seeking solutions, because I know you're here for a reason. And you're here most likely looking for some kind of answer to your prayer as to why you still hurt or have symptoms or pains or patterns, right? That you've most likely been looking to solve somewhere, maybe for a long, long time. And you have not found the solution. And so today I'm going to shake you up a bit. I'm going to hopefully rattle your cage, and I'm going to provide a different new perspective that for some of you who've been here before or have heard me speak, it's why you're here, because you recognized that this is not the average way of understanding pain patterns and symptoms and what to do about it. And for those of you that are new, you might go, what? What is she saying? And so I hope to get a reaction that makes you open your ears and open your eyes to a new way of thinking, brand new way of thinking. And if it's not brand new way of thinking for you, then today I hope it finally clicks. Because I hear this all the time. It's pretty darn interesting. I work with people from all over the world, and many of them are actually healers and practitioners and doctors and nurses and all kinds of people who, like you, who I'm sure have, people that tell me, I've been working on myself for decades, Deborah. Why can't I figure this out? Right? Anybody else ever have that thought running through your mind? Yeah. And the reason is there isn't one single reason. There's typically a series of things going on. Oh, I need to ask you all to please keep yourselves muted so that we keep the background noise on the recording clear. And I'll ask you also, if you would, to keep the chat clear for now, because when I ask questions or need you, I want the chat to be free for that. So why is it people don't heal? Why is it you may have struggled for a long time looking for an answer? You've gone to the doctors, you've taken the drugs, you've done the testing, they found XYZ, they gave you PQR, you took it all, nothing works. Then you go to the natural medical route and you start seeking natural solutions, and they do tests, right? And they either find something and they give you XYZ and you take XYZ and nothing works. Or they tell you to change your foods, stop eating this, get off the wheat, the gluten, the dairy, right? Anybody go through this? Yeah. And nothing changes. Or they say, wow, we don't see anything on the test wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. That's even more baffling, right? Nothing shows up on the test. And you keep wondering, well, am I crazy? I mean, I'm feeling something is not right. And you do know. You do know. You live in there. You are aware. And there are things that will never show up on tests. And this is what we talk about in my universe. The hidden reasons that don't and won't show up on medical diagnostic tests. Whether you understand it or not, you have a body, but you are not a body. Your body, and you may want to write this down, your body gives you feedback. Your body is not the problem. Yes, she said that. Your body's not the problem. The symptom, the pain is not the problem. Now, does that mean I want you to live with it? No. Does that mean I want you in pain? No. Does that mean you're going to have to manage it and cope with it? No. But your pain is not the problem. And when I say pain, it might be thyroid, it might be kidneys, it might be chronic fatigue, it might be can't eat anything, can't sleep at night, haven't slept in 20 years without a pill. It might mean back pain, neck pain, jaw pain, wrist pain, anything. It might be relationship pain. It might be cysts and tumors. It might be seizures. Like there are so many things that are painful, right? So don't just think neck pain, back pain when I say that word. Fill in the blank. It could be the pain, some of the pain I had years ago. I couldn't stop eating, binge eating till I was sick as a dog and wanted to throw up and couldn't. It could be the pain of never having your relationships work. It could be the pain of being in an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship. There's a lot of different types of pain. So don't close your mind when I say that word and think, well, I don't have back pain. That's not what I mean. But all pain, all patterns that keep showing up in your life, all symptoms of all dis-ease, there are hidden reasons that lie at the roots. And the roots, please write this down. The roots are never, the symptoms are never the root of the problem. The symptoms are not the roots. The symptoms are like leaves on a tree. You see them, you feel them, you can tell when those leaves are brown, dying, not doing well, but they're not the roots of the tree. So you wouldn't take nutrients and soil and water and pour it over the leaves if you wanted to heal the tree, would you? But that's what we're doing when all we focus on are the symptoms. Where does it hurt? What's bothering you? And then we try to patch that up, pill that up, cut that out. And this is why so many people get temporary relief or no relief. And then it comes back or it never goes away. And you go, but I did what you told me to do. Because the conventional way of thinking is not looking deep enough to the hidden roots that are underground, hidden from your view. These are blind spots, not blocks, by the way. Everyone tells me I'm blocked, Deborah. Why am I blocked? You're not blocked. You have a blind spot. And you may have more than one. And until we go deeper and explore this and understand some key things, that A, you have a body, but you are not a body. B, you have a mind, a thinking mind. And sorry to say, the purpose of it is to think. So you're never going to shut that thinking mind off completely, permanently. That's an illusion. It's designed to think, and there's nothing wrong with thinking, but thinking contributes to these hidden reasons. And 3, your emotions, which rarely does anyone even ask you about, and which do not show up on tests, and which lie at the roots and affect every single pain and symptom and pattern. You cannot escape looking deeper to the habits of thought and the emotions that you have either denied, suppressed, repressed, or think you've let go of, but you haven't. You may not even know they're there. I work with people every day who they're just not even aware of the emotions being there, because we get very good at, I'm fine, everything's fine. I got this. I'm going to power through. I'm going to think my way out of this. I'm going to positive think my way into functioning. I'm going to stay in control. I'm not going to let anybody know anything's going on. And this may go all the way back to when you were little, where you learned that in order to survive and stay safe and be approved of, you needed to stop that crying, that yelling, that immature temper tantrum. You needed to stop certain emotions from being expressed. If you've ever heard anyone say to you, well, you shouldn't feel that way, or I'll give you something to cry about, or any other form of don't feel, you're not safe here to feel and express those feelings. You learned to shut down, and you might have had to do this again and again to the point where, if you were like me, I got to the point where I didn't know a feeling. I couldn't, if you could have offered me $1,000,000, anything, and I would not have known where to find those feelings. They were foreign to me. And I had to learn to feel again in order to heal. And I will say, I've discovered you must learn to feel if you want to heal. You must. And this is where a lot of people, I see the look. Well, I've already done that work, or I'm not going there. I don't want to dig that up. I don't want to stir that up, because if the feelings come up and out, I will fall apart. I will be overwhelmed. It will never end. I won't function. I won't pay the bills. I won't be able to take care of my kids. The list goes on and on. But what if I told you that isn't true? What if I could share with you that the fastest path to healing involves being willing to feel and being willing to examine your habits of thought? That most of the thoughts we think, and by the way, they can see from scientific studies that the average person is thinking 90,000 thoughts a day. And what I find working with so many people, it's a lot of thoughts, right? But what I find is that most people are thinking about 10 of the same thought in a variation on the same theme. So you're thinking the same 10 thoughts 90,000 times a day, most likely. And when people have chronic anything that's painful or uncomfortable, they think about it a lot. How many of you have thought about what's going on and bothering you or giving you pain or problems at least once or twice today? Raise your hand if you've thought about it, right? Right? Exactly. Most people think about it over and over and over because we have the illusion that if I think about it long enough and hard enough, I'll figure out what's wrong and I'll fix myself. Now, I would like to say right here and now, let's clear the air about this. If any one of you who took time out of your lives to be on a call like this, who I'm certain has thought about trying to figure out your pain, the problem, before today, if you could have fixed yourself by now, you would have. So I want you to stop suffering unnecessarily and struggling and thinking more and harder and more of the same thoughts. Because if you don't get a higher, newer perspective with different thoughts, nothing will change. You see, until something changes, nothing changes. And so if you stay for 3 decades with the same way of thinking and the same emotions or lack thereof, nothing changes. And we have to do things differently. And this is what's different in my universe. In the high-speed healing universe, I help people learn to examine their thoughts, sometimes for the first time in their life. And again, this is another thing that's so unique, is that when I've been to a lot of school in my life and a lot of workshops, a lot of seminars, probably more than the average person. And I have not once in a regular classroom setting or typical workshops ever been asked to examine how I think. I've been told what to think. I've been told how I should think. I've been told my thinking is wrong somehow. But I've never been taught how to examine my thoughts and sort out what's true and what's false. What's serving me and what's harming me? And even better, I was not taught until much, much later in life. Well, actually, I stumbled upon it accidentally, that thoughts are an energy that's as powerful as electricity, and that our thoughts are a force that we are using all the time, but we don't know how to use it properly. So we use it automatically the way we were programmed when we were young, when we were little, the way we were taught. And if we don't examine how we were taught to think and what we were taught to believe to be true, we may be actually adding a log or 2 or 10 to the fire we're trying to put out. This is going on for most people. They're adding to the problem that they're trying to get rid of. And that's like building a house brick by brick and tearing it down brick by brick all in the same day. You want to build this new house and then you tear it down, so you never get anywhere. This is what's happening. Now, I wish it were as simple as just the thoughts, but it's threefold. It's the thoughts, it's the emotions. And this is where it gets more hidden for most people. At least now we have more and more information coming out about the power of thoughts, the power of the mind. And we've learned, and more people know now, that the brain is plastic, it's changeable, it's malleable. There's neuroplasticity. And there's lots of neuroscience out there now that shows you you're not stuck with your brain the way it is. It can change, and you can grow new neural pathways and rewire your brain anytime you start and want to. And I teach people how to do this, but if all you do is work on the brain, you may still feel stuck. You may not get where you want to go. You may not get the relief of your pain, your patterns, and your symptoms, because it's not just about thinking. The emotions are energy. And we have lived in a world for a long time that judges emotions as if they were just horrible character defects. Now, you don't judge the light switch, do you? The electricity. You don't judge the energy from the sun, do you? Or the lunar light energy, or energy that comes from a tractor. You don't judge energy, but you judge emotions, or you've been taught to, or you've had other people judge your emotions. But emotions are energy, my friends. And it's supposed to be energy in motion. In motion, not stuck and stopped and told, don't bring that here. That will prove that you're weak, or you're lazy, or you're childish, or you're unprofessional. Don't you dare bring those emotions here. This is work. This is ridiculous, is what this is. And so what's happened is many people, both men and women, have learned to stop and hold down their emotions, which is energy. Now, I want you to picture a fire hose, and there's a fire burning. And the fireman goes to the scene of the fire with the fire hose, ready to put it out with all that water, right? But he starts squeezing the hose so tight, puts a vise around it, so the water is not coming out of the hose, it's actually starting to bulge the hose before the end of the hose where the water should be coming out. The water gets dammed up. And eventually, what does it do? It bursts the hose, it breaks, it harms the hose. This is what we do when we hold on to those emotions and we dam them up and we don't express them fully, appropriately, freely. The energy starts to build and build and build and build, and it will eventually burst, come out sideways as a symptom. It may come out very inappropriately because you've been stuffing and storing and stuffing and storing for a long time. it will bring harm if it's not expressed. Now, I am not talking about going around and crying all the time and bursting, dumping your anger on everybody in every situation. That's not what I mean. There are appropriate ways to learn to allow the energy of your emotions to come up and to release. And guess what? This will also shock you. 90 seems to be a popular number in science. So we think 90,000 thoughts a day. And the other thing they've discovered is that, are you ready for this? The average feeling, guess how long it lasts? On average, a whopping 90 seconds. So these emotions that we've been told, don't you dare, they last a whopping 90 seconds. And people hold them in and down for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and then wonder why they're exhausted, why their stomach hurts all the time, why their neck is always in pain, why they can't eat, can't sleep, why their hormones are going haywire, why they wake up in the middle of the night, why their bladder, they're this, they're that. It's because the energy is not blocked, it's being held down. And energy needs to flow. We are designed to flow, to express, to be free beings, energy beings. You're an energy being having a human experience in a physical body, but you are an energy being. Energy must be freely flowing and expressing if you're going to live an optimal, healthy life. And your body, your feedback machine, is your friend. And it's telling you when you're not doing what you need to be doing. So here's where the disconnect happens. Your body says, I'm going to help you out, friend. I'm going to show you when you're off track, when you're out of alignment for where you need to be fully and freely expressing your being, your blueprint. I'm going to give you a clue, a signal, a sign. And if you don't listen to me, I'm going to do it again and again and again, and it's going to get louder and stronger and bigger and bolder in your face until you listen to me. And what do? We try to suppress, cut out, and drug out and numb out the sign, the clue, the messenger. We shoot the messenger. And then we wonder, well, why is nothing changing? My mother's a great example of this. She's a highly sensitive, emotional person, always has been, super anxious, worries about everybody. It doesn't want to change that. And also has resentments that, again, she doesn't express, just stuffs it inside. After decades of this, she started having gallbladder symptoms. Now you think about it. Words are very powerful, and they create words for a reason. So have you ever heard the term, I was galled by that person's behavior? I was just galled by them. There's a reason that word came into existence. So my mother was told she had gallbladder symptoms. And her doctor said, we're just going to take that gallbladder out. You don't need that gallbladder. My mother will do whatever a doctor says. She's that kind of person, grew up in that generation. She will do whatever a doctor tells her to do. So she had her gallbladder taken out. That was, 40 years ago. My mother still has gallbladder symptoms. Now, how is that possible with no gallbladder? Because she has not dealt with the underlying real issues that cause the sensations, the feedback that the body's giving. And your body will still give you the feedback, even when an organ's removed many times, because you are an energy being and your body's giving you information that goes much deeper than just physical. It's trying to talk to you, to help you, to tell you, hey, wake up. There's more to you than just parts, like car parts. So we have to examine the mind and the habits of thought, and we have to learn to find and feel the emotions, the feelings. And it doesn't mean we find and feel and wallow in them. We learn to release them. And the third thing, and this is the latest, most exciting piece of science, and it's also spiritual. And they're both coming together now more than ever before because we've entered the age of energy. In fact, when we all first said hello to the internet, we entered the age of energy when that happened. When we started to interconnect with everybody everywhere, the internet is a metaphor for what's already been happening, always was, is, and will be, which is we are all interconnected via invisible information, connections, resonance, frequencies, vibration. We live in a field of energy and information. We live in that field. We're part of it. We're contributing to it. We're picking up information from the collective field. Your body is a field of information. Your body is a collective field of vibrational information. And it's holding certain patterns. These are vibrational patterns. They get given certain labels, but they're all different vibrational patterns. And if you don't change the vibration, the pattern doesn't change. And this is why you can sometimes try something again and again, but you're not addressing the vibrational pattern properly. And so it's not changing. And if you don't change your thoughts and your emotions, like I said, you might change the vibration, but then you'll bring back your familiar comfort zone, which is what happens to most people because they like to feel in control. And when you start to change, it will probably feel uncomfortable at first, maybe even a little scary because you won't recognize the new territory, the unknown that you're going into. You're used to navigating, even though you don't like it, you're used to it. And most people are very uncomfortable feeling vulnerable and out of control. So they tiptoe and then they run back to shore. And they tiptoe over here and and they try, well, oh, I'm not going there. I don't know what's going to happen. So your energy field, especially because it's invisible, just like thoughts and emotions, it's invisible. And we live in a world that has emphasized that the only thing that's real is what you can see and touch, which, by the way, is a false belief. But we have grown accustomed to this idea, many people, well, I'll believe it when I see it. No, it doesn't work that way. You actually see it when you believe it. And this is challenging because people don't trust, don't feel, and don't talk about what's going on at a deeper level. And when you don't talk, don't trust, and don't feel, you stay stuck. And it feels like you're blocked. But really, it's just a blind spot and an incorrect way of navigating life. When you start to think differently, feel differently, and you're willing to look at the invisible energy and open your mind to a new idea about the invisible realm, you have everything going for you. So I suspect almost everybody here is there, or you wouldn't be here. Even though you might still be skeptical, which is fine. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. You just, you're obviously taking it in. And I don't try to convince people not to be skeptical. I actually think it's healthy to be skeptical. There's a lot of things to be skeptical about. And you don't want to just accept whatever you hear as blind faith. I'm a very prove it to me kind of girl. If I hadn't been getting results for a long time, I wouldn't be doing this. So, but you need to have your own experience and your own proof. what I will say to you is, have you ever had that sense when you've either gone somewhere, met someone where you just like, oh, I don't like that person, or I don't feel good here, but you don't know the person, never met them, never been to this place before, but you have a sense that's something's not right. Or maybe you've ever had the experience of getting a feeling like something's wrong with my spouse or my kid, like like it just came to you, and then you later on discovered you were right. It's because of this invisible energy field. We are all interconnected, and especially the people you care about, there's a stronger line of communication that's invisible. It's like, think of those electric wires. We have those with everybody. We're interconnected with everyone, and strongest with the people where there's a love bond, to the point where you can get so connected, you can actually hear people before they call you, or know you're going to run into them, or right. I have this every day now. I have for a long time. Like I will know. It's, call it telepathy, call it whatever you want. It's actually just vibrational connection, that information that you're hearing, because there's a bond, and the bond is love. It's the strongest bond in the universe, in the omniverse, in the cosmos. It's the key to everything. And so this energy field, back to my point here, the third area that we have to examine, and this is the beautiful thing, is that it's the fastest way, the safest way, and the easiest way to change the vibrational information that's affecting you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's affecting your relationships, your romance, and your finances. It's affecting everything, because it's information that's communicating with you and you with it. And if you don't examine that energy field, or ever address the energy field, then there are many imprints that have happened. Oh, let me back up. So your energy field, there's one that surrounds your particular body. It's actually an extension of your body. You don't end at the skin. You extend beyond, but it gets more subtle, so you don't see it. Which is why, again, if all you believe in is what you can see and touch, you're missing the huge, huge important part of the puzzle. The energy field is actually the precursor to the physical. It's more important, not less. It's not make-believe. And with certain equipment, it can be measured and seen. But this equipment is not in the average doctor's office, medical center, anywhere. It's in physics labs. And how many of you ever went to a physics lab for your back pain or your binge eating? Nobody. So you're not hearing what you need to hear. But something led you here, didn't it? So you're getting guided to what you need to hear. So keep your ears open, even if it's making you stretch. The energy field is like a recording device, and it's been recording everything that's ever happened to you your entire life, and probably from in the womb and even before. And I've had a lot of people discover, when I've worked with them while I work in their energy field, that they had trauma from in the womb. Now, you don't remember this typically. Decades later, when something is constantly, you're feeling anxious or depressed, or you haven't been able to kick the pain, and the pain comes and goes and nothing shows up on a test, or you don't understand why you can't eat and can't sleep, et cetera, you don't remember that you had trauma in the birth canal. But when I work in the energy field, a lot of times people actually do recall it and release it, and very rapidly. Or they remember something like that about the parent, mother, and how you have to understand we're affected before the age of 8 or 9 by the environment that we're soaking in. You were literally in the environment, you were in your mother. So whatever she was going through, you were going through. Whatever she felt, you felt. Whatever she believed, you were being impressed upon, imprinted with whatever your mother was going through. And that continues. There's a unification with the mother's state of consciousness. Now, everything is consciousness. We're getting there, but we're not quite there yet universally, where people understand that consciousness is everything. Your body is showing you your state of consciousness. The body is basically your mind expressing in physical form. It's your emotions expressing or not expressing. It's the reflection of the state of your consciousness. And your consciousness got formed before the age of 8 or 9 by the people you spent your time around, the environment you were in, the things that were said to you, done to you, that you heard, that you felt. And here's the tricky part. The brain before the age of 8 or 9 doesn't have the ability to decide and discern what's true and what's false, what's good for me and what's not. It's like an empty laptop saying, put any files in here you feel like. I'll just say yes, put them in. So you can corrupt your laptop without knowing it. And this is why 20, 30 years later, you're looking around and you're like, you know, not everybody has what I have. I grew up, it might even be your own relative, your own brothers and sisters, or kids you went to school with, and you were similar growing up. And all of a sudden you say, but they're not suffering from what I'm suffering from. Why? What's wrong with me? And most people do the wrong thing here, which is they take it personally as if they're defective or there's some kind of karma or curse on them. No, it's the programming, the conditioning you got from the fishbowl you grew up in, that the laptop that your brain got downloaded with. And until we start to examine what you were downloaded with, you are ruled by it. And so you may have a 6-year-old running a 60-year-old life. And this is what I find over and over and over, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So are you hearing me? Are you getting what I'm saying? Give me a thumbs up, a heart, something. If you're wave at me, shake your head. Let me know you're hearing me. Okay, good, 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 good. Let me check all these pages of people. I love seeing so many people here today. Oh, Tony. Hi, Tony. Good to see you. Wow. Yeah. Some of the people who have been here before. How many of you, by a show of hands, are brand new to my calls? Raise your hand or give me raise your hand, in the reactions, you can literally raise your hand. I'd like to see how many people are brand new here today. Oh, wow. A lot of you. Keep your hands up if you would, please. Let me just see how many are brand new. Raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, type new in the chat. All right, so quite a few of you, but a lot of you are back. So if you're back, thank you for raising your hand. You can lower that now. If you're back, there's quite a lot of you who are back for more. That must be you're resonating with something is speaking to you. And when something speaks to us, we get a feeling. We have a hunch, or our body reacts, or we get just this sense of, wow, like this is really interesting, or I'm curious about this, or everything starts tingling and lighting up inside and we go, oh my God, like this is for me. This is speaking to my soul, my cells. So you can always trust that. That's your inner GPS, and it's coded in our DNA. It's the only thing you can trust, actually, where you're being guided all the time, every day, all day. Now, here's the tricky part. If you, again, back to that childhood upbringing, you may have learned that your guidance was either silly, wrong, or not what the big people wanted. So, the pilot light never goes out, but you could have had it shamed to being very dim. It could be that you can have it criticized out. You can have that flame dimmed. Excuse me, there's something in my throat. So the key is to learn to put yourself in a place like this, where you're safe, where you're free to express, and when you learn to trust yourself again. You learn to trust your feelings, your guidance. This is key to health. It's the key. If and when I ever hear the phrase, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that way," I will run away. That to me is one of the most unhealthy, harmful things you can ever say to a person or be told. Feelings are not good or bad, right or wrong. And your feelings are connected to your intuition. And your intuition is your guiding light. So we have to sort it out, though, because some people will have feelings based on their early childhood thought programming, and thoughts do generate an emotional reaction. And it's not always an appropriate reaction if it's a false idea. So this is, you see what I'm starting to say here is that there's a puzzle we have to put together. You can't just do one thing, like work on your beliefs. You can't just work on your emotions. You can't just work on your energy field, because it's a three-pronged puzzle. And if you don't correct the thoughts and your thoughts are false, it's going to generate an emotional reaction. And then you can't easily trust those emotions. And you'll feel confused. Or you'll make choices and you'll say, well, I felt like that was the right choice. And you'll say, oh, that wasn't the greatest choice. So we want to do a big sorting. And there are no feelings that are wrong. They need to be able to, even if they come from false beliefs, you still need to be able to freely learn to release them. Because if you don't, the fire hose happens. And this is dangerous to your health. So the first thing I want to ask you all tonight, and type in the chat, is what is one idea that you have? Well, first of all, what brings you to the call? Like, what hurts? What do you know is not right? What are you trying to fix and figure out? Start giving me some feedback in the chat. What brought you here? What are you suffering from? What do you want to stop or change or fix that's causing you to even show up on a call like this? The chat, if you're new to this, is at the bottom of the screen. Just go in there and type. All right, scarcity, migraines, anxiety, mystery, body pain, neck pain, loss of sight. Yeah. Holding myself back from living fully, pain that will not be relieved after everything I try, financial pain, hip pain, lack of mobility due to pain, waist and hip pain. What am I still resisting? Insomnia, all over body pain, blood pressure, overall life, despair, terrible pain from Parkinson's, tailbone pain. Okay, a lot of physical pain here tonight. Emotions, yep. Neuropathy, back pain. I'm here to continue learning how to hear, respect, and follow my own voice. So Tanya's been around my universe for a while, and she gets it. You know, the key is when you learn to listen to and respect and follow the deep inner calling, the deep inner voice, you will be guided to the path that's right for you, and you will know when you're in ease and when you're in dis-ease. Cancer, emotional injuries, anxiety, depression, upper back, don't know how to feel what I feel, and don't have self-love. Okay, these are great. Thank you for sharing. So now I want to ask you all, what is one thought that you repeat every darn day, and maybe you're up at night tossing and turning trying to figure out, and you have a thought about, why did I get this, and you have an answer, but obviously you're not getting anywhere, but you have some kind of answer that you think, a meaning that you've given, like why you have what you have. Why do you still have that pain? You probably ask why a lot, right? And you have certain ideas in your mind about why this is showing up in your life. What are some of those thoughts? What have you decided is happening to you? And put those ideas in the chat. Laura's saying, I didn't do enough today. What did I do wrong is another response. This is exactly what I expected. What else? What are some other thoughts about why you have what you have? What's going on with you? What do you tell yourself? What do you believe to be true? Why do I have to be the one here? Another person said, I blew it with bad planning. Or I just can't get it right. I just can't get it right. What did I do to God to deserve this? Yeah. Habits are killing me. I'm not worthy of anything good. Somehow I deserve this from some past action. That's a very common one as well. Shame. I find a lot of exactly what I'm reading. I have to play certain roles and look a certain way in order to be valuable. Yep, that's very common. What did I do to have chronic pain, right? Another comment is, I'll grieve. If I grieve, I'll lose people. Yeah. So there are quite a lot of ideas you might have about what's wrong with you. Some of the common ones are, well, it runs in my family. Anybody got that one going around? It runs in my family. It's something I did, I'm being punished. It's because I just didn't try hard enough, or I deserve to hurt. Another thing that's sometimes more subtle is I can't be out of pain when all the people or someone I love around me is suffering. Like I can't be happy and free and joyful if people around me that I love are suffering. That shows up a lot as well. Another big one is I'm not worthy of feeling happy, or I don't know how. Or I read it in the comments, I'll lose someone or something if I don't have this. So there are a lot of ideas you might have. Oh, that's the other one, Sarah. Yeah, said getting older. So, oh, this comes with age, right? That's the one I love the most, that age equals pain. Where did we buy into this, my friends? This is so not true. Age equals pain and disease. That is more harmful than probably, all the others, because so many people have accepted that idea as true. What if you discovered today that your thoughts are constantly a creative force, and that they literally are giving an instruction manual to life and to your body? What if you started thinking, what's possible for me that I never allowed to be possible before? What if you changed the question from, why do I deserve this? Why me? What's wrong with me? What if you change the question to, what can I imagine? What can I imagine? How much am I willing to imagine the good that's there for me? How much good joy, peace, health, wealth am I willing to even imagine is there for me? What if, just what if, the universe is not holding anything from me, not keeping anything from me? What if my ideas, my emotions, and my programming is actually the root? It's actually making me believe and only see a certain small range of possibilities based on the files I took in. I see this much, not this, as even possible. Would you be willing today to expand and open that lens? Even just willingness to be open to a new idea is enough to shift you to a different experience. Notice how you feel if you even just say, I'm open to the possibility that I can heal, that I can feel different, that I can be happy. Notice how you feel. Say it out loud wherever you are. I am open to the possibility that it's possible for me to release what I'm suffering from and feel happy, joyous, free, peaceful. It's possible for me. Can you say that even? Some people won't even say it. They stop it. If you can say it, there's hope. Now, if you can say it with energy, and you can say it and actually take it in, there's even more hope. Now, don't give up hope if you can't say it yet. There's still hope for you. But the more you are willing, see, people get lost in how, Deborah, how do I do it? How do I do it? They're looking for a technique. The key to change is willingness, not how. It's willingness. Are you even willing to change? Because if you're not, you could have every technique under the sun and nothing will change. Are you willing? Is it possible for you to let go of the anxiety, the thyroid, the depression, the insomnia, the binge eating, the whatever you've got that you're trying to get rid of? Is that even possible for you? Are you willing to accept that it's possible for you? Ask yourself that question. And don't leave here today without answering it. And it's okay if you say, no, it's not. Just don't swim around in, I don't know, because you do know. It's either, yes, I'm willing to accept it's possible, or no, I'm not. You do know. And that doesn't mean if you get a no, it doesn't mean that can't change. But if you don't believe that it's possible and you think it's not, accept that's where you're at, because that's part of your blind spot. And you need help with that. And so reach out and get help. If it's not from me, get it from someone, because that's your blind spot. You don't even think it's possible. So it won't be. Now, if you do think it's possible and you are willing and you are open to trying some new things, and you recognize what I'm saying today, that it's 3 prongs: mind, emotions, and energy field. And you don't make the energy field the last stop on planet Earth. You make that the first choice, because that's the fastest way to even start to release the unconscious, the ones that you're not aware of, the thoughts and the emotions. It starts to bring them up, often rapidly, right away in the very first session. And so it really, for all of us, it needs to become our first choice, not our last. And this is why I'm so excited, because the science is backing this now. We're seeing the results. We've got data. A lot of people, I don't need data, but a lot of people need data before they'll do anything. So here's your data, people. There's a lot of data. And we're seeing more and more of this offered. There's even hospitals where I live where you can get energy healing at the hospital. That's remarkable. We're living in a time where it is starting to change the medical paradigm is changing, and they're recognizing the value of the energy field. There's actually been tons of research for many years, but it's not commonly known. It never got funded. They don't sell, there's no drugs to sell. We're really bombarded all the time by the pharmaceutical industry. It's a huge industry. And again, that's what you hear because that's what you see. And that's what has had the greatest impact and the money behind it. So again, I'm not, there are reasons for medicines that, some people need. But what I have found after working with people in 160 countries is that the fastest way to shift anything is to start with the energy field first. And in many cases, it ends up where drugs aren't even needed. Or the drugs that they've been needing are no longer needed. Now, I don't give medical advice. I'm not a doctor, and I don't tell people what to take or don't take or stop taking or start. I don't even recommend food, because what happens is when you get tuned into that inner guidance I was telling you about, you will know. You will know. You will naturally gravitate to what's good for you, whether it's foods, whether it's, who said to me, a client even said to me today earlier, what did she say? Oh, yeah, she said, after she had been working with me for a while, she's been a chocoholic her whole life and loves sugar and sweets and chocolate cake and all this stuff. She said, but after she had been working with me, not that long, I think it was a month, she noticed a friend brought over her favorite flourless chocolate cake for a dinner party, and she took a bite and went, oh my God, this doesn't even taste good anymore. Why? Because her frequencies have changed. And everything is about energy, vibration, and frequency. And foods have frequency. Your body has frequencies. Your organs, every organ has a frequency. Every person, everything has a frequency. And when you are harmonious with a frequency and you resonate, it will feel good, taste good, smell good, be good for you. And when it's out of resonance, you will say, oh, I don't like that person. Oh, I don't like that food. Oh, I don't want to go there. Oh, I don't like that. I don't want to do that. You're not resonating with it. And when your energy field gets tuned up and vibrationally there's harmony, lots of things change. I shared with her earlier, I had a client in Australia, big tough guy, who he said to me, Deborah, I've eaten fish and chips and fried foods and pizza for 40 years. And I had one session with you, and all of a sudden I'm juicing kale and spinach. He said, and it wasn't because you told me to, which I never do, or that I felt like I should. He said, I wanted to. I was drawn to it, and it felt so good and it tasted good, and I don't even want the fish and chips anymore, because his frequency changed when I worked in his energy field. And it happens sometimes like that. I had another client with a dog named George. And when I worked on the client, George was in the session. And Greg emailed me the next day and said, you won't believe this, but George became a vegan. He won't eat his dog food anymore. George, his frequency changed. He wanted fresh vegetables and not dog food anymore. I mean, animals love this as well. In fact, everyone I work on, whether it's groups or one-on-one, if they have a cat or a dog, the animal shows up in the session, like within seconds. They can feel it, sense it. They love energy healing. So we're living in a very exciting time. We really are. And everything is possible. And so if you've been suffering for a long time, I don't want you to give up hope, because we're on the tip of an iceberg that's just ready to just like shower us with big, more important changes. And the fact is, we've had a misunderstanding about a lot of things. And in particular, it's the body and health. Everything is changeable, everything. And the body's designed to heal itself. when it's in a safe space, given the right tools, and you've got someone there to help you over that initial hump when the fears come up, which they do for almost everybody. When you start to change, like I said earlier, there's a little uncomfortable vibe that comes up because you don't know this. It's unfamiliar. And people's resistance often does come up. And this is why it's important to not try to do everything by yourself, home alone. It's also why a lot of people have gotten stuck and feel blocked because they're home alone with a recording or a workshop, but they're doing it alone. And I do recommend that for just initially, until you understand that you have blind spots. Everybody does. And someone with an expertise can help you, not tell you what to do, not tell you how to think, but help draw out of you your own answers and the information that's causing the blind spot. Your answers are inside of you. They really are right now, whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, your answers are inside of you. So you need the type of teaching and coach that helps you find your answers, not tells you how you should live your life. That's my opinion. So I asked you about the thought, right? And you probably have a list of them that you think again and again and again and again. If I think it more often and harder and more, all night long, maybe I'll figure it out. Now I want to ask you about something that I want you to think about this week. And that is, when you were growing up, what was the emotional climate like? What were you not allowed to feel? What did nobody allow in your environment? What emotions were not okay to be expressed? Was it anger? Was it sadness? Were you not allowed to cry? Were you told, grow up? Was it guilt? Was it shame? Was it fear? What emotions were you having trouble with? Or were you told, stop it? Noelle, this is common. Noelle said, males could show anger, but not girls. Emotions are subversive. Fear, I guess, was okay. Very common, actually. Yeah. Now notice how I'm not getting any answers. I only got one answer in the chat. This is because most people are not even in touch and have never thought about the emotional climate that they grew up in. So I want you to think about that this week. Most people don't spend any time and attention ever examining their emotions or the climate they grew up in and how they were programmed to feel or not feel. In some families, no feelings were allowed, none. Some families were highly emotional and expressed all of it, but it was volatile. It wasn't really a healthy way of expressing. And then in other families, there were certain feelings allowed and not others. So wait, there's a few more chat comments coming up. My mom was allowed to express all the emotions, but mine or my dad's were not okay. Yeah, okay. Love wasn't shown. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Laughter was the only emotion allowed. Interesting. Everything was made fun of. Yes. And so this is when that goes on, when everything's made fun of, many people shut down all of their emotion. They just stop expressing. They won't express their thoughts. They won't express because they don't want to be made fun of. No one likes that. Tony said, tell your story walking. I don't remember which story you're talking about. If I think of it, I will, or if you can give me a clue. Feelings were not talked about ever. Yeah, I was programmed. Dad said that. There was no safety, no security. Yeah, anger was not allowed. Dad was not around. Mom was too tired. You just made do. Yeah, see, I want you to begin thinking about these things, the thoughts, the emotions, the energy field. Joe said I got a lot of mixed messages. I got a lot of very mixed messages as well. And that unpredictability is actually more frightening than being told don't ever feel, because its unpredictability creates anxiety where you just never know. Like so my mother, sweet as can be, but she was also a rager, and nobody saw that side of her, but we did. And so it would come out very unexpectedly, hysterical, crying and raging, and nobody in the entire world ever saw that. So it was never validated, and very scary to be around because you never knew when it was coming. And my father, even worse, because it took him longer to blow, but when he would blow, oh my God, like, who's that? And it was terrifying. And it would take a long time for his fuse to blow. Very unpredictable. So you catch my drift, right? You get what I'm saying here. Some people are, we used to call it lock key kids. They came home alone. There was nobody even around. So they had no one around. That's a whole different scenario. But just know that everything and everyone that you were around, latchkey kid, thank you. That's the term. Um, it all has an impact, and it's imprinting, and you formed what you believe to be true about life and men and women and love and money and all these things. You formed those ideas in childhood before you were even old enough to know you were forming those ideas. And your actions and your emotions are the result of those ideas. And then if the emotions weren't allowed, double whammy, or they were judged, right? So this is where we get all confused and we get all worked up, and we think we're blocked or cursed or karma or this or that, when really there's a sorting that has to take place. So I created that's been my life's work, is to help people. First, I went through it because I almost died from all of this. Honest to God, I was living on pills to get rid of the mental pain and strain, pills because my stomach hurt from the emotional pain and strain, pills because everything ached. I couldn't sleep, pills for sleep, wine, binge eating, sugar and sweets because it gave me a temporary little feel good high. I was searching to feel better, and I didn't know how. And no matter what I accomplished in life, which I had accomplished a lot, but it didn't register as feel good. It was never enough. I felt not enough and never enough. So no matter what I accomplished, whether it was at work, whether it was monetarily, whether it was a big house, husband, whatever it just never felt like good enough. I didn't feel good enough. And I was programmed with not enough. And I see that now, but I didn't know that was the problem. So I kept trying to fix myself to be enough, feel better. And eventually it almost killed me because of the choices I made to do it were harmful. And so then I had a sorting out process, which saved my life. And in that sorting process, part of which was meditation, a lot was revealed to me, a lot of answers. And the birth of the method of healing that I provide today, which I call high-speed healing, because it does that. It's a high-speed form of healing, and it helps people. But that's the energy feeling. I became very, very sensitive to being able to scan a person's energy field or a group's field, even at a distance. And I can tell, I can feel where there are disturbances in the energy field. Even if you can't tell, I can tell. And I know where to work, and I'm able to bring in these amazing vibrational frequencies that you need. And there's an invisible communication that takes place that harmonizes. Think of it like tuning up an instrument. A guitar plays music, but if it's out of tune, the music won't sound good. Well, if you're out of tune, your life won't look good, sound good, feel good. So we harmonize your energy field, and your energy field communicates with the cells of your body, your mind, your emotions, your life. And people change. And yes, it can sound like, oh my God, how is that possible? Because you haven't been taught about the invisible realm being the precursor to the physical. And this is what's different in my universe, and why I speak constantly about this on interviews and things, because people need to hear it again and again for it to sink in that this is real. This is not woo-woo. This is real. There's science. If you Google biofield science, you will find great evidence that this is real. And I was fortunate enough to discover this many, many years ago, before there was even so much science out there. And it was revealed to me internally through intuition, which is why I know and believe our intuition is stronger than any scientific research. Intuition is the key to all knowledge, all wisdom, and it's powerful stuff. And so the more you sort out and release the programming, the conditioning from your childhood that you don't even know you got, the more you become naturally open to your intuition working better. And drugs have a way of calcifying the pineal gland, which is connected, it's your organ for intuition. So you know, again, I'm not giving medical advice, but you want to keep a healthy pineal gland. Let's just put it that way. So back to my point. So over time, a lot was revealed to me. I recognize this is what I'm here to do and to share with people, and how I'm here to help. And my life transformed, and I've been able to help many people all over the world for many years now. But I found there were a percentage of people that, even though I would work with their energy field and they would have healing, it wouldn't stick, or it would only partially stick. And that's what drove me nuts until I figured that out. And I did. And that's why I created my pain-free living program, because I saw it always had to do with beliefs or emotions, these habits. And so in a perfect world, what I want for everyone is to experience high-speed healing, and also to learn the self-care tools that I teach, so you know how to find and release your damaging thoughts, and you know how to find and release the destructive emotions or the suppressed emotions. Because if you, like I said, if you only do one and not all three, chances are you won't fully heal. And it takes practice. You can't just do it once. It needs to become part of your way of living and thinking and being and feeling in the world. I don't have to look at a piece of paper now. I know how to find and listen to myself and clear a belief. I know what I'm feeling now. I don't need someone to prod me, to pry it out of me. I know now, and I allow it to come up. And you need to do the same. And it's not as hard as you think. It's actually so much easier than you think. And you start to feel better, like usually right away. So I want to invite all of you, if you haven't ever done this, to go to my website and check out internationalcpi.com/PFLP. That stands for Pain Free Living Program. And I want you to at least be willing to read about it and think about it and see if you resonate, see if it speaks to you, see if your body gives you feedback, see if you get curious, see if you go, oh my God, yes, or oh my God, no. Like, investigate. I'm not trying to convince you. I want you to investigate and feel into it. It may be not your time, but it may be your time. It may be long past due. You're going to find there, I want you to read the success stories on that page, and then there's a whole other a testimonial page on the website. I want you to see what real people have written to me, because they can't all be making it up. And especially if you're skeptical, and I understand that, Read what other people have written. It might really help give you hope. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what people have experienced after they've worked with me and recognize your miracle could be right around the corner. So are you willing to even be open to the possibility? Back to my $1 million question. That's what you want to ask yourself. And you'll find on the Pain-Free Living Program page, I've made some changes very, very recently so that the program's now more affordable to everyone. And you'll find you can access it now for half off. It's a limited time offer, and you can combine it with or without the live group calls. So see, there's something for every budget is my point. I don't want anyone saying I can't afford it anymore. Like, no, there's something for you that's affordable. And you're probably spending more at Starbucks than what the daily price would be. Seriously. Or at a massage therapist or somebody to try to help you with your pain symptoms. So I'm really doing my best here to try to make it affordable for everyone so that you don't stay stuck and you can move forward in your life. So you'll find the Pain-Free Living Program, and you'll find the live group calls. I recommend that you do both together. That's the perfect combo. So you have my direct access to me on calls like this, where you can ask questions, you can receive the live high-speed healing, and I work with people live on the call as well. And you meet other people, which, by the way, especially if you have a lot of shame around all this stuff, when you find there are other people who feel like you, think like you, lived like you, grew up like you, and want to heal and want you to experience success, you're going to be shocked at how motivating that is and how you feel finally connected to your soul family. Might not be your family of origin, but your soul family, people that actually want you to feel better and are willing to practice the tools. This is healing in and of itself. Those of you with shame, you'll find your shame starting to dissolve right away when you found a safe space where everyone's speaking the language. And I don't allow anyone to stay in that group. First of all, it's never even happened. I don't attract people who are like negative in the group. It just doesn't happen. I've never once had to ask anyone to leave the group. Not once. It's really powerful to see that happening and to see people feeling comfortable and safe. And, that just dawned on me today. I don't think I've ever realized I've not once had to ask anyone to leave the group in all these years. It's really, really quite astounding. So check out the program, see if it's for you, feel into it. If you have questions, you can email contact@internationalcpi.com, and we will answer your questions and help you figure out what's best for you. You'll see there's other ways to work with me. Some people just have to work with me one-on-one. That is still available. Still, not forever, but still is available. So if you know that's you, then go ahead. You'll see where to do that on the website. But do something. There's nothing worse than that victim mentality where there's just nothing that can help me. There's just nothing I can do about it. There's no one out there. That is not true. That is not true. And I cried that for a long time, 14 years, and it got me nowhere. And it was only when I was willing to go to any lengths and started to be willing to receive some help that I got the help. I got it from God. I got it from other people. I got it from meditating. I got it from myself. Like, there's a lot of help out there. We have to be willing to receive it. Someone's asking, what is the /? It's a symbol. Oh, let me type in the chat what I'm talking about. Hang on. So this is where you go. We got to move the microphone. It's in the way of my typing hand here. Hold on. internationalcpi.com and then /PFLP. It's a symbol that looks like this on your keypad. And you just type all that in and you'll go to the pain-free living program right there. And then and just the main website itself is internationalcpi.com. You can go there, and then in the top, you'll see the menu bar at the top of the screen, and it says get started. And there should be a drop-down menu that opens up, and you'll see the pain-free living program, the high-speed healing membership, that's the live calls, and you'll see the one-on-one services. There are 2 different types of one-on-one, and you'll see the free gift. Everybody get a download if you haven't yet. Grab the free copy of my book, Why Do I Still Hurt? I wrote this for you, and I'm giving it away on the website. So grab a copy of that, get busy reading it. It's like a workbook. You want to read that. It will help you. And it's designed to get you started on your healing journey. So there's so many ways to move forward. No excuses. Little tough love from Deborah today before we go. But thank you for being here. I get you because I am you, or I was you. And I was down a long, ugly road, almost to the very edge, ready to jump. And thank goodness I took the next step in a new direction. Never expected my life to become what it has. Never, never. This was not on my to-do list. And so if you think you're different than me, you're wrong. You just haven't had the right guidance or guide there. I'd love to be your Sherpa. I would love for you to hold my hand till you don't need to hold my hand anymore. And I'm here for you. This is my life's mission and purpose. And I'm not done. So I hope you found value here today. I hope you start thinking about the emotional climate, the thoughts you're repeating, rinsing and repeating, and start saying out loud with energy. First thing every morning you should do is stand up tall, open your arms, and say out loud so the universe can hear you on another planet. I am open and willing to heal. I am
open and willing to heal.
Let's all unmute and say that together. How about we do that before we close? Let's see. I think I'm invited. Just unmute yourself. Yeah. Let's see. Ask all to unmute. There we go. Unmute. Here we go. On 4, 3,
open and willing.
I am open
Open and willing.
I am open and willing. Am open and willing to heal.
Open and willing to heal.
I am open and willing to heal.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you all.
Open and willing to heal.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Open and willing to heal.
Open and willing.
Willing to heal.
All right. That was powerful. Thank you, everyone. Come back soon, and I hope to see you on the live calls. All right. Bye, everybody.